Single dad quit his $47 job at 4:17 a.m. His female billionaire CEO showed up and changed everything at exactly 4:17 a.m., with the city still asleep and the weight of a $47 million career pressing against his chest. Daniel Hayes hit send on the email that would destroy everything he had built, and maybe save the only thing he had left. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that can change lives, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Brightly Kindness. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them most. The glow of the laptop faded as Daniel leaned back in his chair, staring at the quiet apartment around him. Toys were scattered across the floor, a tiny shoe lay near the couch, and a soft nightlight flickered in the corner of the room where his 5-year-old daughter, Lily, slept peacefully. That was the real reason behind his decision. Not the stress, not the sleepless nights, not even the suffocating expectations of being a top executive, but her. He hadn't tucked her into bed in weeks. He hadn't heard her laugh properly in months. Somewhere between million-dollar deals and endless meetings, he had become a stranger in his own child's life. Daniel had been the youngest senior executive in the company's history, a man people admired, envied, and whispered about. His sharp decisions had brought in record-breaking profits, and his name had become synonymous with success. But behind the polished suits and confident presentations was a father slowly breaking apart. Every missed school event, every ignored bedtime story, every moment he chose work over Lily, it all collected inside him like a quiet storm waiting to explode. And that morning it did. He closed the laptop and sat in silence, listening to the faint sound of rain tapping against the window. It felt strange, almost unreal to know that by sunrise, he would no longer be the man everyone thought he was. No title, no power, just a single dad with uncertainty staring him in the face. Hours later, as the morning unfolded, Daniel tried to act normal. He made breakfast, packed Lily's lunch, and walked her to the door with a smile that felt heavier than anything he had ever carried. But deep inside, fear crept in. What had he done? How would he provide for her now? Had he just traded security for a dream that might never work? The day moved slowly, each minute dragging with unanswered questions. And then, just as the sky darkened again and rain began to fall harder, there was a knock on his door. It wasn't expected, it wasn't planned. And when Daniel opened it, everything changed. Standing there, soaked from the rain, was his CEO, a woman known across the industry as unstoppable, brilliant, and untouchable. She was a billionaire who had built an empire from nothing, someone who rarely left her office floors, let alone showed up unannounced at an employee's apartment. But there she was, her hair damp, her expression unreadable, holding a small brown envelope close to her chest as if it carried something important. Daniel felt his heart drop. He had expected an email response, maybe a formal acknowledgement, but not this, not her. The silence between them stretched, heavy and uncertain, as rainwater dripped from her coat onto the floor. There was no anger in her eyes, no disappointment, just something deeper, something almost human in a way he had never seen before. She stepped inside without waiting, glancing around the apartment, taking in the scattered toys, the quiet warmth of a life far removed from corporate boardrooms. For the first time, Daniel felt exposed, not as an executive, but as a father who had been trying to hold everything together. What happened next wasn't what he expected. Instead of questioning his decision, instead of reminding him of the money, the power, the opportunities he had just thrown away, she simply looked at him with a quiet understanding that caught him off guard. It was as if she already knew the reason behind his resignation. And maybe she did, because she had once stood where he was standing now. Years ago, before the billions, before the empire, before the world knew her name, she had made a similar choice. She had lost something important chasing success, something she could never get back. And ever since then, she had been searching, quietly, for a way to fix that mistake. Daniel's resignation wasn't a loss to her. It was a reminder. As the storm outside grew stronger, the conversation between them shifted into something deeper than business. It became about life, about regret, about the things money could never buy. And in that moment, Daniel realized something he hadn't understood before. He wasn't weak for walking away. He was brave. The envelope she held wasn't a termination notice or a final paycheck. It was an offer, but not the kind he had expected. She didn't ask him to come back as an executive. She didn't try to lure him with a higher salary or bigger promises. Instead, she offered him something different, a chance to build something meaningful on his own terms, a role that would allow him to be present for his daughter while still using his skills to create something impactful. It wasn't about profit anymore. It was about purpose. For the first time in a long time, Daniel felt something shift inside him. The fear didn't disappear, but it softened, replaced by a quiet hope he had almost forgotten existed. The rain outside began to slow. The storm